go. What's up, everybody? Sorry, just getting started real quick. There it is. Beautiful. Had to get my YouTube going. Make sure my chat's going. All right. Let's talk about the markets. So, looking at Bitcoin right now. Don't really have anything in particular I want to look at, but I do want to talk about some events that are happening this week. One in particular is CPI. I'm going to pull this up on my side. Something we have to pay attention to. What day is it? I think it's on Thursday. I'm going to double check real quick on Forex Factory. So CPI comes in on Friday. That is going to be a big day, guys. Oftentimes, because of the inflation, because of like how sensitive the market is right now and getting risk off, I think that's going to be a big day. So any price action leading into that might be an indicator of like a clue. I don't know. Like I've noticed that like big events, if you pump into them, they tend to be sell the news type of thing, and if you dump into them, it's kind of like a sell the rumor, buy the news. But that's just me. Anyways, let's take a look at the markets to see what happened. So Bitcoin, not a lot happened today. I mean, look, if you're looking at it on the daily, right? Didn't really do too much. This is yesterday. I mean, we put in a low around 68,300. That's, I think, where we started. And we actually ran up to about 71.3 today during the day. We caught part of that trade live in the Discord. It was a little bit of a short we caught together. Where was that? It was back here. So we first pushed into. Let me go to the half-hour chart. See if I could find exactly that. Was it this move? No, it wasn't this move. It was one of these. No, it was right here. Right here. So we caught this move right here. It was this morning. So it was the first push into VWAP after New York opened. We caught an initial. I mean, you're watching on the 15. It was actually an easy trade. And it pushed in there at SFP, the high that got put in on the initial open. And then we ran it down a little bit. I got a couple $100 out of the trade. And then actually the real trade I caught today was this. So we had established a trend on BTC. My plan was this. It was real simple. If you took a trend from the high the BTC had and ran it straight down, that's London. That's the Asia high. That was London high. And this is the New York high. When we broke that, I said, look, if we can break it and back test VWAP, I'm looking for a little long. I actually got long there, ran it up to about just under 71, and I got out. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of a little trade I took this morning. 2 of them I'll put in the Discord. If anybody's interested, check us out, Tactical Edge Trading. Tactical Edge Trading. Our website's tacticaledgetraders.com. We do have a Discord. We have a website. It's free to join. We're just a trading group. And a lot of full-time traders, people aspiring to be traders, people like-minded individuals, just a group to kind of community for that kind of thinking. But right now, look, BTC is just kind of chopping around. Not too much happening at the time. If you actually take a volume profile from this consolidation to here, we're just sitting we're just sitting right underneath the POC. Right above VWAP. So if we can't reclaim 70,500, I think we make our way back down to 69,000. I'm sorry. So it's like, look, if we fail to get back above, I can see us kind of making our way down. But look, if we can reclaim this, then maybe we attack the highs again. So we'll see. Asia has a decision to make. We're going to watch and wait and see. I'm looking for a trade myself, so. Yo, what's up, Rajo? Sorry, I don't speak Spanish, my dude. If you can translate that to English, I got you. I'll answer the question. But yeah, guys, so that's what I'm looking at on BTC for tonight. That's kind of my trading plan. I'm going to wait to see what happens. If we start to break down and we lose VWAP, I'm looking to take a short from the retest the VWAP down to the value area low. It's not a huge trade, but any back test would yield me about 1%. That's all I need on BTC. So that's my trade plan to the downside. But I'm not touching anything at POC right now. I need it to break VWAP. Let's go take a look at the traditional markets. So look, I had a trade plan. It might be getting squashed right now, but I haven't entered yet. So this is the S&P 500 SPY, ES, whatever you want to call it. We're still beneath overall trend, but we're chopping around, right? We're in a range, and we haven't been able to break out of this range. And you can drag this over a little bit, and you can see we're just kind of chopping. It's deciding what it's going to do. So simply put, for price, it needs to do one of two things. It's either going to break out of the range to the upside or the downside. You're either going to get one of these, or it pops up, starts to mark, and it'll mark up from there. If that happens, I mean, hey, new all-time highs, right? There's also a scenario where, hey, maybe it sweeps, then it rolls down, and then starts to break down, ultimately targeting this low at 6,500. So that's a scenario at the all-time high. So you could look for the short, you could look for the breakout retest. If you're going to play the bullish side, wait for the retest. Don't get trapped into like a breakout. Another thing I would watch for is, look, hey, maybe we don't actually go all the way up there. Maybe we start to roll over prematurely. So we'll see. I'm waiting to see what happens here on SPY. I haven't gotten short, but if I do see a sweep of the highs and a closure back inside the range, I probably will take a short, ultimately targeting at least two areas. Down here around 6,700, and then maybe down to 6,500 if we can break that low. So that's the short I'm looking for. My plan was a little bit wonkier earlier. I was looking for a lower high, but I think we're going to go sweep the highs. What are my thoughts about ICP? You mean the crypto? Give me a second. I'll check that out. I'm going to check out the Qs right now. That was actually my next thing. Qs similar, man. Very similar to SPY. You know, you lost that trend. You're consolidating right now. You're establishing like a little bit of a range, right? You swept the range low. So here's the thing, right? Normally with a range, when a range gets established at some point, when you sweep the liquidity, you oftentimes go in the opposite direction to take liquidity. Now, the opposite direction will be up here at 637. So does it necessarily mean... Does that mean there's a chance we get back up to 637? Yeah. I mean, it could follow in the footsteps of SPY and be running back up to its high. But it just might be lagging a little bit. But I could see that coming back up here. It's just a matter of what happens when we get back up here. Does it break out, retest, and then run up? Or does it just sweep and then run back down? Like, that's what we have to look for. Just kind of like it did here. Just like it did here. Sweeps the liquidity beforehand. So, but I think support right now is around 600. Resistance is around 637. You start to lose 600. I mean, man, your next real big level, and like I think I've mentioned this before, is down here. It's around 540 on Qs. So just keep that in mind, man. Once this range decides to pick a direction, it's either going to go up or it's going to break down. If it breaks down, this is your target down here. So keep that in mind on the Qs. Lower time frames for a day trade. The markets are closed right now, man. I don't know what you want me to do. Kind of hard to give you a day trade when the markets aren't open. I mean, that was your day trade. That's support, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I don't really give out trades. I give out supports and resistances. What you do there is what you do there. If I talk about my trade idea, that's a different story. But I don't really have a trade idea here. I mean, look. You're above VWAP. That's a start, right? You get your above VWAP. You have a trend that lines up with VWAP. I would say as long as you're above that, I would stay long. If you start to break down below VWAP and this trend, that's probably your short signal. Nah, that's not financial advice. It's not telling you to take a trade, but if I had to pick a direction off VWAP, that's how I'd play that, or continuation up. So that's pretty much a day trade for you. Resistance, you're at resistance now, but the higher up resistance would be closer to 630. And if you drop down, I mean, back down to 600, dude, if you start losing trend, that would look back down here. Yeah, no problem, man. You took what trade? Oh, nice. It's either going up or down, right? Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. What are you trading and how are you day trading at 9 p.m.? I'm not day trading right now. I'm just looking at the markets, hanging out, streaming. I haven't taken a trade right now. I am watching for a trade on Bitcoin. I illustrated what my trade idea was. I said we're at a POC of a range on Bitcoin. All right. Here's a little range. I've been waiting. I'm showing you on the 5 minute because I want to illustrate it a little bit better. I've been waiting for us to break below POC and then to lose VWAP. Once we pick direction below VWAP, I'm looking for the back test to go short. My target's back down here around 69.2. If it stays above POC and stays above VWAP and chops around between POC, I'm doing nothing. I'm sitting on my hands. I'm not interested in anything between here and here. It's just not enough juice in there for me. It's a lot of risk without enough. But I think here there's a decent move from VWAP down to the value area low. So that's what I'm targeting. Do I get it? We'll see. I just went over SPY. BTC definitely going to tank. I think it's going to come down too over some time. Somebody asked for something else. Hold on first. Let me go in order, guys. What's up? If you guys have tickers in there, go ahead and throw them in the chat. But no stupid shit. Someone asked for ICP a little bit ago. Hold on. Sorry, I'm going to take that out. ICP looks like everything else in crypto, like shit. Let's take the VWAP off. Let's go to the daily. Alright, so let's just get rid of this shit. So, I mean, look. Fuck, I can even go to the weekly for this one. You lost major lows, right? So, ICP is below its bear market support. Or the bull market support. It's below support that it's had for I don't know how many years. However long. Fucking shit, that looks like crap. So, going on a lower time frame, you got two levels. You got this wick below us, which that was that big flush back in October. And then you have the level above us. So, as long as you're between these two levels, I mean, that's resistance, that's support on the higher time frames. You are in a downtrend, but you are bull flagging a little bit off a little bit of a impulse buy. There's probably some bullish divergence in there, maybe. No, I don't see it. I was kind of assuming there might be some, but so yeah, we'll see. Maybe this flags out, right? And maybe this runs back up to test resistance. If it can break resistance and flip it, then you maybe can mark back up to higher levels. You can reclaim this entire, this support, and then maybe start to attack higher levels. But until you get back above 276, I mean, this could just simply come back up, roll over, or it maybe doesn't even do that. Maybe it just continues down. The trend is down right now, so it could stay down. We don't know. But yeah, those are the levels in ICP. What do you use to trade on? I use BidFi, BTCC, and Brightfunded. It's a prop firm. So I use two crypto exchanges to trade on, and then I just like to trade in USDT, and then I use a prop firm as well. Run over BTC already. I'll come back to it. I just got to get some other stuff going first. Let's go look at Tesla. See what's going on with Tesla. All right, so that's a lot of TA on Tesla. So we've talked about Tesla. Look, Tesla was in this longer trend, right? Starting back in April 2025, so the tariff lows. And it's been trending up, and it retested the all-time high put in back in December of 24. Swept those highs and has recently lost that trend, right? Just kind of playing catch-up on price action. So where are we at? Well, we came down and we front-ran this level at 385. What are we doing? One of two things. We're back testing the breakdown level, that micro support we had, and we're coming back up to probably retest the breakdown of the trend. So for now, it's in bounce. It's in a bounce zone, but it's coming up against a key resistance. This 420, you can see how it was support, right? Now it's resistance. So if we can break through this, the next level up realistically is around 340-ish. So Tesla, if it can hold, break through this, you could see it come up to this 340 level, where it would be testing the trend, also a 618. It's a 618 fib pull. If you actually pull the fib from the high here down to that low, it runs up into like right there, the fib. But if you pull it from here, I'll show you another place. So I kind of like pulled some confluence from different couple areas and kind of just drew a box generally in this area. So it's not an exact science. Like, it's going to be this area somewhere. I'd be looking for a lower high. So anywhere from like 440 maybe up to like 456 it could run up to. I think this is where you draw the line, though. If you start breaking above 450, it could flip bullish again. So just keep that in mind. Google. We'll look at Google. Why do I not have it? It's Alphabet. All right. Looks a lot very similar. I mean, look. We were in a trend for quite a bit of time from last year. I mean, it ran all the way back from April, but like the trend started to pick back up here back in September. And we lost the trend back here like early February, right? Like the first week of February. So what are we doing now? I mean, I'm just speculating. We're probably making our way back down to test this $300 level. I mean, that's the next logical place for price to go. In the meantime, price could just fuck around here for a while. It's finding resistance here at this 330, 333 level, right? You can see how price reaction is reacting. And it's starting to look a little weak, like it's starting to want to roll over possibly. So I would just watch to see what happens here. Got a little bit of a trend maybe. Just kind of going in both directions, like a little symmetrical triangle. So it's a consolidation. So it starts to break down from this trend. You expect 300. If it starts to rip up, maybe it comes back up and back tests a little higher up. Maybe this trend that it broke down from, the higher time frame trend, could run back up. And if it continues to run up, maybe it retests the high at 350. But I think 333 is going to be a good level for resistance, and support right now is around 300. And it looks a little bit more downside to me, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. I'm not saying the trade-off that. Like, short time frame looks a little bit more bearish. Like it's poised for a move down. Coin. What's up, film? Give me a second. Let me look at see what make sure I'm not missing. You guys toss a lot of stuff in there. Somebody asked about SoFi. Yeah, I could look at SoFi. Alright, I think I have some old TA from SoFi. SoFi, very similar to the last two charts we just looked at, right? Your low back in April 2025 started an uptrend. You lost the trend, right? You also lost a very key area that I talked about on this one. Last time I think I TA'd this on live. We had a head and shoulders pattern. This is the neckline. We're like, if you lose the neckline, you're going to go the distance of the head and shoulders. Well, look. That would take us back down to about 18. We haven't hit the full move yet. So I still think we are in a downtrend. We're just getting a bounce. How high could this bounce go? I mean, realistically, could come all the way back up to here, right, on the daily, and still have downwards market structure. So you need to be prepared for this thing to bounce all the way back up to 25 to put in a lower high on the daily. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do that, but it could. But I think ultimately it's going to. Wouldn't be really looking for any major bounces till it gets down to about 18, because that seems like the next logical place for it to go. Measure and move. Also, high place of confluence is the previous breakout high. So I would just look at this as a short-term bounce for now on SoFi. But resistance is around 25 up to about 26. Support is about 18. Let me go look at Bitcoin real quick, see what's happening. Are we rolling over right now? Is my short coming alive? Not yet. Nah, it hasn't hit VWAP yet. It's got to break through VWAP first. It's close, though. It's close. Yeah, I'll check out. All right, let me go look at Oracle. I feel like yeah, that's Oracle. All right, so Oracle. Talked about Oracle a bunch. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. So we have some old TA on Oracle. I was talking about the idea of this. Look, so essentially Oracle has been in a downtrend for quite a bit of time, right? Been in a downtrend. It's obvious. What did it do? It came all the way down, filled every CME gap on the way down. 1, 2, 3. Filled every gap, and now is getting a little bounce. So does it start to reclaim some of these levels above? I don't know. I mean, the next resistance is until about 200, 208. And support right now is down back around 118, this low here. So the trend's still down. I mean, I wouldn't go fading the trend. I mean, you'll get bounces. It could even come all the way up to here and still roll over and come back down here and take this level out. So I wouldn't go too crazy, but I mean, it's hard to tell. I would say locally, I was talking about this last time. I was like, if you're trying to get like a local trade on this thing, look for this trend here on the 4-hour, right, on Oracle. If that breaks, that's an early sign that, hey, maybe it's going to flip, right? So you look for a breakout, you look for a back test, and then maybe you look for a pump up to maybe test that 200 level, 208 level we talked about. Anything, and it could also just fade it and roll over. So those are possibilities, but I think that trend's a starting position to kind of look and see what happens. Big news today. Is there big news? I don't think there is. Big news Friday. I have no idea what Oracle does as a company, brother. You have to ask the person who requested it. I'm sorry. I don't know what half these companies do. I just look at the charts. That's the beauty of TA. You don't need to know what the company does. So last time we were looking at NVIDIA, we were talking about this as a range, right? So we said this is a potential. I'm going to just go to the higher time frames. You had your previous range, you had your breakout, and you have price action topping out around 210-ish, right? And you start to form a little bit of a head and shoulders. And we were saying, hey, if we lose this neckline, it's probably coming back down to 150, 155 on NVIDIA. But we since then got a bounce. Now we're at resistance again. So this 194 has been resistance multiple times. If we can break this 194 and sustain, there's a chance it's coming for the all-time high. That's the next level to the upside, around 210. If it rejects here, it's probably back down to this trend line around 174 to retest this. And if it breaks through, like I said, the next level down is around 155 for NVIDIA. That's just the starter level. It could go lower than that, but that's just like what I'm seeing in the short term. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for NVIDIA. Let's go look at MU. What's up, Rich? Thanks, Tessa. You don't have to watch if you don't think I know what I'm talking about, but I appreciate the feedback. You could join the Discord. You can tell me all about what you know and tell me how successful of a trader you are. If it works for you, it works for you. I mean, my trading style doesn't have to be the same as someone else's. I can still make money on it. All right, so look. I had some levels marked out on this thing. This thing's been, this MU Micron, whoever asked for this, has been like uptrending for quite a bit, right? Previous breakout, it's been running up. And this is a 4-hour chart. But what we did lose was a trend, right? We had a little bit of a trend going up from back in December. We lost that trend. We flipped structure on the 1 hour. We lost 1 hour market structure right there. We're back testing right now. This is the 1 hour market structure shift. You can argue it happened here, actually, too. But either way, this is the back test. So the next logical place, if this pattern breaks down, the next logical place would be around 345, possibly down to around 315 for a potential bounce. If it continues, look, it could go lower than that. I would say a larger level to watch for will be anywhere down from 260 to this trend around 280. That would be a bigger level to potentially watch for a bounce. So, but this could serve as some support in the meantime if we do start to lose this level. Now look, to the upside, if you start to break back above this $400 level, then you can start looking back up to 420, maybe even up to 450, these highs up here. So this is going to be a big level. It starts to do this, you know, you could come attack this high and then potentially that high there. So all right, let's look at MicroStrategy. Someone was looking at this thing. Looks like shit. Look, I said this was gonna happen. When it started to get acceptance back into the previous range here, I said, look, it was failing to break back out, right? It gained acceptance. I said, look for MicroStrategies back down here. And it did. Look, it came back down to the bottom of the box, the accumulation range, before it broke out and tested the low. So is this a low? I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go look at it on the daily. I want to see if there's any divergence. I mean, not really. This might just be a temporary bounce. I mean, shit. Look, I'm just gonna paint the picture here. As long as you're in this range, support is 105 and resistance is 180, 185, right? So price could theoretically just do what it did here, right? Just do this ping pong here until it picks a direction. But if you start to slip this 105 zone, this becomes resistance, then you're starting to look down to $44, $45. That's the next major level. That's fucking sad for MicroStrategies, guys. And look, if let's say it gets bullish, right? Let's just paint a bullish picture. Let's say it starts to rip up, if it can break out of this range just like it did back here, flip as a support, then yeah, then it opens up the floodgates to go up higher. But it needs to do those things first. So we need to see. Let price prove itself. I think right now, sorry, 1 second, guys. If I'm ignoring you on YouTube, it's my bad. I'm just doing something in the background on the second screen, so I can't see what's going on. Sorry, I just got to do some stuff. I'm doing some stuff on the back end real quick. All right, back to what I was saying. So MicroStrategies, right? So look, that's support, that's resistance. This box basically is your new range that you're sitting in. So just wait to see what happens, man. This thing could just be in here for a while. But big levels to watch is 105 and 185. And anything in between that is just noise. Let me get back to YouTube real quick. You trade like me, Infamous? That's good, man. I know I trade like a lot of other people too. They didn't make this style myself. I stole it from other people. Not like all in all, but like, you know, I saw how trends can be utilized. So I learned from watching other people put their trend lines. And then like some people use boxes for like levels like Fibonacci. So I started doing that too. Because I like the way it looks. And I like the way it kind of like stands out on the chart like as an area of interest. Coinbase. All right, so Coinbase, we were talking about Coinbase, right? I think like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. So let's get rid of this real quick, and we'll come back to that. And we'll get rid of this. We'll come back to that. So where's Coinbase sitting at right now? Well, it's at weekly support, man. I mean, once, twice, 3 times it tapped this level, and it's held. And every time it's gotten a pretty decent bounce. So does it necessarily mean it's going to go break all-time highs? I don't know. I don't think so. Very unlikely. But I think you're going to get a little bit of a reaction here. We're starting to see that on the weekly. So what I was watching for earlier was this. And this is why I kind of got rid of. I was like, you got a little bit of a trend. It's really hard to see on the daily. But if you go down to your 4 hour, it makes more sense, right? So you got a trend from the high. If we're going to break out and actually have a bigger significant bounce, I think it starts with this trend breaking and then some higher low market structure forming above it, and then we start to mark up, right? That would be my early clue. If we start to pump up, the areas I would be looking for, the obvious areas was basically, that's why I had that box illustrated before, was it's up here. It's the previous range we were trading in is going to now serve as resistance. So 225 would be the new resistance because it was support. We lost it. So that would be resistance. And if we gained acceptance, just like I illustrated back there with MicroStrategies, right? If you gain acceptance back into the range, then you look to go back up to the top of the range, which go back to 285. So those are like the levels I would say in the immediate time, like, on the daily to watch. And shorter time frames, you're more watching to see what happens with this low here around 145 and this trend that we're pressing up against at the moment. So, yeah. Also, Bitcoin short is starting to play out. So, we just lost VWAP, which was step one, right? I was like, drop POC, lose VWAP. Now we're looking for any back tests to confirm the move. So, we'll see. Let's see what Asia chooses to do. What else are we looking at? I got a lot of people throwing stuff in there. Yep, how does... Like a consistent, profitable trader. Yeah. I mean, right now I'm just TAing. This is not trading. Trading's a whole different thing. It's a mind game, guys. It's about having good demeanor too, like in discipline. It's more than just looking at charts. Like you got to actually like be able to like stop the urges, control your impulses. That shit's difficult, man. All right, so this thing, but it helps to be in a group. If you're trading with other people, it helps to stay disciplined because like you watch other people not bite on stupid moves, and you're all trading looking for like basically the same moves usually. So you watch other people not bite on it, and you're like, okay, they're not biting on it. Maybe I should just be a little more patient. So, plus side, if you're interested, check out our group. We're Tactical Edge Trading. Our group, our website. I'm going to show this before I show off the Discord. Show off this TA is tacticaledgetraders.com. It's free to join, guys. You can join here. Then if you want to enter our Discord to get access to our Discord, you'll be able to actually access that for free as well. And that's where we all hang out. We talk. We share ideas. We trade live together. All that fun stuff. Tons of free educational modules with videos. This is Ben pretty much lays out what you need to learn or what you need to know to kind of get yourself started as a trader in the markets. So just throwing that out there. But anyway, let's get back to MGNI. Someone spammed this like 80 times in the chat, so I figured I would take a look at it. So pay attention, people. Thanks, Rich. So look, guys, this thing has been trending up for a little bit, but it's been volatile as shit. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It's really hard to read this thing because of how impulsive this thing is. So... I mean, right now, weekly, you're in a downtrend, right? The trend is down on the weekly. So if you just focus on that for now, take the high, run a trend down, that's basically what you want to like use to tell you when the trend is flipped, right? Early indicator. You go down to even your 4 hour, I mean, you're still coming down. You're at support right here on the 4 hour, but I don't know if this is like, I wouldn't necessarily call this strong support. But I think the bigger support comes down here at that trend I marked off. So if we lose this level around 1150, I think you're looking closer to around $9 where this trend's at and where this weekly low is at. But it's held up in the past, so let's see if it holds again, right? So for now, that's your support, your two supports below, and I think this trend's going to be your major resistance right along with this $13 level. See how there's resistance right there? It lines up with the trend. So let's say you did pump up into this area. Right, you're hitting major resistance on two fronts. But if you do manage to break, flip, then that's your first sign of like bullishness. So that's what I would need to see to become flip bullish on this asset. For now, it's down, sideways and down. Until it's not. What's what did he say? Amateur Trading 101. Thanks, Marcus. I appreciate that, bro. You think trading needs to be complicated to be good, or TA needs to be complicated? I think people that are, if you try to sound smart when you're doing TA and you like overcomplicate things, you're full of shit. If you can explain things like as you were explaining to a child or just like a group of people who know nothing about trading, that's usually like the people you want to listen to, from my experience. I think it's like that in most professions too. Let me see. CRWV. I'm going to do that real quick. CoreWeave. I think CoreWeave had a little bounce, didn't it? It did have a bounce. All right, let me go look at this on the weekly. All right, let's take a look at this thing. So, couple things happening with CoreWeave here, right? So we had this major downtrend. It's still respecting the downtrend. Just let's keep this straight, right? So amateur hour TA here, by the way, guys. So look, 3 taps, that's a trend. It's got 4 taps here on a weekly. So that's your resistance. Still in a downtrend. Weekly high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Until that breaks, you're still in a downtrend on CoreWeave. But it's had a nice rally, right? What did it rally off of? Well, it rallied off this low right here. Right there where that little wick was at, that was a previous high, and it broke out and ran on its little run. That became support. So that's your floor right now. Your floor is around 66. A little bit more locally. Looked good here. You had the little inverse head and shoulders, broke you out, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder. Right? The measured move played out pretty much to a T, right to that high. Also the trend. And you broke structure on the daily. So right now it's starting to look weak. If I had to say this starting to look weak, you would expect to be looking for lower highs on the daily now because of the break of structure here, because you lost that daily low. Let me see what the 4 hour says. 4 hours already in a downtrend. Hasn't flipped just yet. So what I'd be looking for is shorts. I'd be looking for shorts anywhere in this area up here, back down, or looking for rejections. Now, if it does start to break out, taking out this high and taking out this trend and starts to flip and hold support, then yeah, this is getting ready to fucking go. But there's some clues in the market we can kind of look at, right? Let's go look and see if the money flow and if the volume agree with any of that. I'm going to say volume could potentially poison for something, but it's not, hasn't created new highs, but it's consolidating, right? So it could be getting ready to do something on the daily. The weekly is kind of like fading out. 4 hours not really showing too much. Let me see what market cipher looks like on the higher time frames. I mean, look, I'll give you this one. There is daily bullish divergence, right? Let me get rid of some of these indicators to kind of not to confuse you too much. So, right? So you can see how the momentum's shifting down, but what's price action? What was price action doing? Like, for the most part, from this low here to this low here, price action was moving up. But momentum was shifting down. So generally it was moving up. So that is a daily bullish divergence. That should continue up a little bit. So I think this pump is probably legit for now until we get back up to this trend line high around 109, 108. You got a trigger wave right there on market cipher. Money flow doesn't look terrible. So yeah, I mean, this might actually pump up. Maybe this is going to be a higher low forming. I mean, on the weekly, it doesn't look terrible, right? I mean, that if you take away this wick, that looks good, right? That looks like a bull flag on the weekly. So maybe this thing does break out. We'll see. But that's your support. Support's around 87, 88. And your resistance sits up there around that 105 to 110 area. Pretty much up to this wick high here. Let me see. Wow, Cypher B, haven't seen it. Yeah. I use it every once in a while. Bitcoin Cash. Just started trading. Can you take a look at an NQ? Can you recommend some resources for absolute beginner fundamental analysis in the crypto market? look, if you're trying to learn just basic stuff and try to get and you're brand new, I would say check out our website, tacticaledgetraders.com. It's free. Tons of educational content on it. I was talking about this earlier. Ben basically does a layout how you should, what you need to, what's important, how to read the markets, how to learn about supports, resistances, order flow, why the market moves the way it does, liquidity, all that stuff. Kind of like a whole intro to all that kind of stuff. And then we have a Discord where we have tons of free resources and you have access to people who trade the markets. So, you know, it's like networking, talk to other people, ask your questions, that kind of stuff. And then if you have questions about like, oh, does this work? Does that work? You know, and if we have resources, we hand, you know, like, hey, check out this website or check out this book. Like that's what we do in the group. So check us out. It might actually help you if you're new, or at least get you like, it'll tell you what, you know, what direction you need to go at least. And it's free. So yeah, man, no problem, brother. I can go over gold and silver. Just give me a second. We didn't go over gold and silver, did we? I kind of skipped those today. All right, so look. Let me get rid of the... Wow, I just can't draw lines today. So let's just keep it simple. So gold, support right now, major support, 4,400. That's where we bottomed out after that big capitulation, right? Resistance right now on the daily is sitting at around 5,100. This is the line in the sand for gold. This doesn't matter what happens. If it starts to break and close above 5,100, very good chance it's going for the all-time high again. That's the only level above that on the daily. If we start to break down below this low here, around 4,700, I mean, very good chance we're just going to run back down to this lows at 4,400 and see what happens there. I know it's like a big range, really, but like I think it all starts here. It all starts at this level of 5,100. So it's like you either do this or you're going to do this and potentially come down all the way. You know what I mean? You'll have bounces and stuff. You got a little bit of a trend to track. I mean, maybe that'll serve as support if we do get a pullback from this resistance. So you'll have to wait to see, but it's not confirmed. It needs 3 touches for it to be a trend. It's just something you can look for. Maybe if we do get down there, you see some random bounce, maybe it's a trend. So just something to keep an eye on. But yeah, that's your support. That's your resistance. This is your major level. Like I said, if you get back above 5,100, man, there's a very good shot you're going for the all-time high again. I will say this on the daily, it looks bullish. Doesn't look like it wants to stop. I mean, the momentum waves are all the way reset. Money flow looks good. I mean, volume looks good. Like, it's really hard to want to fade gold. I would say 4 hour looks a little bit more sketch. So your medium time frames look a little bit more overcooked. And we are at resistance right now. So that could just mean like a temporary pullback before a bigger move up. But I don't know. We'll see. Just got to watch and see. What's up, Ricardo? Yeah, dude, we did it in Q. Just look back a few. If you look back, like if you can rewind, if you're watching on YouTube, we went over the Qs. Adobe's and Salesforce. I'll get to Adobe. Let me just look at silver. So silver, very similar to gold, right? Had a big drop the other day. Big ass drop, by the way. Found support down here around 70. Actually went all the way down to like 64 if you'd have got that long. That was sick. That would have been a nice fucking long to catch. But look, it's a little bit weaker than gold. Gold's sitting relatively up to like where 91 is at for silver. Silver's a lot further back. So look, if silver continues to do what it's doing now and just chipping on up, this is the resistance, 91. Support right now is 70. Anything below 70 is probably going to indicate a bigger drop on silver. And I hate to say it, and it's going to sound super bearish, but that's your level, man. You lose 70, dude. There is nothing stopping you from going to 54. And I'll show you why. If you look on the right-hand side, the VRVP, volume drops off dramatically here. There's not much volume here in this zone. And it doesn't pick back up until it gets back down to 54. So 70 is a big level for this to hold. And on the flip side, if you want to get bullish, you got to break 91. So expect this thing to kind of mess around in this zone for a bit. I think you could see this thing kind of play the zone until it picks a direction. Like, you could chop around. That was a big move. Like, it's not crazy for these things to range around a little bit. So, but that's your range. 91 resistance, 70 support. You lose that, you know that you're going. You break 91, you know where you're going. All-time highs on silver. I appreciate that, Snow. Try to keep it simple, dude. I mean, that's just like the key when you're fucking trying to like talk about the charts. Like, I swear, dude, I used to be one of those guys that try to make it sound so complicated, and I'd be talking to someone and they're like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, and they're traders and they don't understand what I'm saying. And I'm like, now I can break it down where I can talk to somebody who probably doesn't know much about the charts and kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. And that's where I try to keep it, because, you know, it's just easier, man. It's like, who wants to sit there and try to like sound smart? Just talking about some charts, man, what we think going to happen. But I'm just looking at Bitcoin real quick. I just want to see how this move's looking. We did get that back test on VWAP we talked about, guys. So I'm going to take you down to the 5, right? Remember I said I want to see a breakdown and retest? So right now, this could have been it. And maybe it drops. And if it does, that was the trade. But you do have a little bit of a trend kind of coming down too. So that could start to serve as support resistance. Or just a general like idea. If a trend breaks, then you get out of the trade. But what's up, Parker? All right, I got to get back to looking at other stuff, not my own. I'm being selfish right now. Somebody asked for ASML. By the way, guys, if you're not following on TikTok, give us a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like, smash the subscribe, whatever the whole saying is on that. It helps out the channel, pushes us out to the algo, gets us to more eyes, and it really does us a favor. We're here about 5-6 days a week doing lives, technical analysis, checking out charts, just kicking it, talking about the markets. We got a free Discord. We have a free website with tons of educational content. All we ask for is just a little bit of, you know, support on the social media side. So let me talk about ASML. This thing is a little wild, actually. It's been uptrending for quite a bit of time. I'm going to go to the daily for this. So, shit, I might have to go to the weekly. Does it go back any... Oh, my God. Okay, so last major weekly high was down here back in 2024, right? There is no other weekly levels. Everything else is a daily level. You're consolidating right now above a CME gap on the daily. I can see that. So that's going to be a point of interest right below you. That little gap right there. That was when the markets were closed. They left what is called just a market gap. It's when non-market hours, the price was closed and opened at a different level. And it leaves these gaps behind. The market tends to go back for them. So if you start to come back down without taking this high, I think this gap might be a good target. You also do have gaps down here, back at that support, also that weekly support we talked about. So these are targets, man. These are targets for price. If price decides to come down, these are where the levels you're going to look at. So next you try to build a little bit of confluence. How would you do that? Start with a little bit of a... So you do have a 786 down here at this gap. So I think if we were to pull back, you're probably sitting at a 382 right now too, I bet. Hold on, let me see. Yep, look at that, 382. So for people who don't think fibs work. So look, you're bouncing off a 382. If you were to pull back, I mean, maybe you get a little support around, let me pull that back. Maybe you get a little support around this 618 here, around $2,200, $1,200. But I think the juicier level is down here around 1,100. Why 1,100? If you do pull back, one, it will be retesting the breakout, right? Which you haven't really done. And it also lines up with a lot of levels here. We got gaps there, gap fills, and we have some fibs. But look, if you manage to hold this 382, you are kind of like consolidating here. So maybe it holds. There's always that possibility that this can just, continue up. But that'd be the level to watch. I would say between 1300 and 1275. You start to lose that, I think you're coming down to 1100, 1200. Those are the big levels. And to the upside, it's the all-time high that it just put in around 1570. Somebody asked for... let's go look at HCMC. What is this? Yeah, I can pull up Adobe. You did ask for that. I don't know what healthier choice is. This is not working. So you're going to have to give me another ticker for that one. Let me go Adobe real quick. Somebody did ask for Adobe like a while back, and I missed it. All right. So look. Oh. Yeah, I can look up that now. I'll look at that next. So look, this is where you're at right now. You took out that low from 2022, weekly low, and you're sitting at weekly support, and you're catching a bounce right now. So that's your major level to the downside that you need to hold, and you're going to have probably some resistance up here and potentially some resistance here on a weekly front. Now let's go down to the daily, see what we can find. I mean, same scenario, man. Like, look, if you lose this low here, let me just paint the picture. If you lose the low at 263, 200's in the cards. 205, 200 is in the cards. So just keep that in mind. So this is support for now until it's not. So you hold here, you expect to make your way back up and start attacking potentially these highs around 330, maybe up to 360. So somewhere in this area potentially up in this area. So these are the two major resistances that I'm seeing. Support is around 263. If you lose this, this turns into resistance, looking down towards 205. It moves fast in this area, so I could see these moves happening quickly. You can see just by previous price action how it's moved in this zone, right? It doesn't really waste time here. It picks a direction and it goes. Picks a direction and it goes. Picks a direction and it goes. See what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, if you're trying to be bullish on it, this is probably going to be your best case level to try to catch a trade for a little bounce. Kind of it's a little bit of a stretch, but there's maybe a bit of a trend you can track. Maybe you start to pop up back up into this trend here. Breakout, boom, and then you get that run up. Could happen quickly though, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's Adobe. You said I look extremely tired or slightly medicated. Either way, I love your analysis. No, I'm just tired, dude. I'm just tired. It's been a long day. I do my charting at the end of the night, but today was a busy day for me. I was up at like 8 in the morning trading and getting ready for the market. Then I had just like one of those days, so I'm just like fucking out of it. Like you said, slightly medicated. That's great. I mean, I just have nicotine patches, but I mean, not pouches. Not patches. Yeah, hold on. Let me, you? What is you? Like Unity software, this? Oh, yeah, it is. I called this dump, too. Said this fucking thing could dump if it loses this trend. Said that a while back. I'm gonna be real with you, brother. Don't look great. It is catching some support here, right? So let's just keep it on. We're catching some support on this previous little consolidation. This little range, right? So if it manages to hold this range here, you may get a back test back up, right? To test some of these levels up here. There's a single print, a lot of liquidity left behind, so they could run it back up. If you gain acceptance back into this range, it's coming back down to this $15 level. So keep that in mind. So you don't want to gain acceptance back under 27. If you do, then you open up the floodgates to go back down to 15. Above 27, you could run back up into the 40s, maybe potentially. Because look, let's just keep it. Let's just for what it is. I'm gonna get rid of everything here. It's range. Price ranged here. This is the deviation. This is the markup. So right now, this is the range low. If it starts to get acceptance back into the previous range, that's here. So it's real simple here. So you're at support. So it flips it. We did look at we didn't look at MSFT. I can look at that. How much you trade up today? I took 2 little scalps today. I didn't make a lot of money today, man. I made like $300 today trading, and I gave back 100. So I think I made 200. There were half-size trades too. I probably should have just chilled out on the third one, but I took 3 like little scalps. So right now I'm in a short on BTC. I told you guys what my plan was in the beginning when we got here. I literally laid the plan out. I didn't tell you when I was getting in, but I said exactly what I was doing. I said as soon as it comes, you can go back on YouTube and there's literally a recording. I said if we lose VWAP and we backtest VWAP and turn it into resistance, I'm taking the short. And I did right here at like 7,150. So I'm short on BTC. I'm watching this low here at 69.7. If we lose that low, it's pretty much open to my target back down here at 69.2. So, but let's go look at MSFT. So Microsoft, wow. Called that double top, by the way. Fucking while back. I think someone said I was an asshole for because I called the top. People don't like. You know how you know you're right when you call a top is when people call you names. They get angry at you. That's when you know you've hit euphoria. But look, big zone. I'm gonna explain why this makes sense. Why we bounced here. Let's get rid of that. Let's talk about this. So trend, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. Pretty sure if you pull from right here, yep, 618 fib, pull from down here. If you pull it from down here, I think it lines up. Nah, it lines up a little off. But anyway, you get my point. There was multiple points of confluence in this area that were lining up here. Also, you have support. This was support before, right? You could see we bounced here once, twice. It was resistance, so it becomes support. So this level around 400, it's also a psychological number. Makes a lot of sense for support. So if it holds trend, you expect a bounce, right? Above trend, you're expecting some type of potential move to maybe retest these highs around 500, potentially around 460, 500, right around there. Those are the levels I'll be looking to the upside first for resistance if you do get a bounce here. If you start to lose this, then you're looking back down to 350 to take out this low here. So this trend's important. You really want to hold this thing. And yeah, I'd be looking around 350, 360 or 350 till downside as support if you lose trend. If you hold trend, I'd be looking closer up to like 460 to maybe 490 at resistance if we do push up. MSFT, your time is over. Volume's building, you said? Maybe, dude. So I don't try to make a prediction on which way it's going to go. I just give the scenarios and where it could head if it went up or if it went down. So then you could just kind of wait for price action. Because as a trader, you don't have to always be right. You just need to trade it right once it's decided what it wants to do. People still use Trendslide to judge PA. If you're going to talk shit, dude, at least get it's TA, not PA. Technical analysis, price action. Is this a joke? I don't know, man. It works for me, dude. If you don't think trend lines are real, bro, that's fine. Go do what you want to do. But I know trend lines are just an illustration. It's all it is. It's not like a fucking science. It's just something your eyes see, and it gives you clues. I use it more for alerts than anything. It's more about market structure and how price action moves and why it moves and where it moves to, which is liquidity. But I don't want to waste your guys' time with that, especially you. You're probably too good of a trader to tell you anything, right? What's Intel's ticker again, guys? I don't know the ticker. I fucking retarded right now. What is he saying? Not even on live data, bud. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. You got anything better to do than sit here and talk shit? If you don't, that's pretty sad. Yeah, it's INTC. Okay, thank you. Just entertaining the troll while you're getting that for me. I like when people talk shit, right? So I'm just gonna open it up with this one. I like when people talk shit, but yet they're watching me. They're wasting their time to sit there and watch me. Like, dude, if you just go do something else. You don't have to watch me. I mean, it's not a big deal. But hey, I appreciate you being here, even if you are talking shit. It's nice. Helps the algos. All right, let's just do some fresh TA on this, man. I went into some fucking dark times the last time I TA'd this thing. So look, we swept these highs here. That's the last thing we talked about was the SFP there. You got all-time highs still sitting up here around 70. Let me just double check, make sure that is the all-time high. That's not the all-time high. Motherfucker, this shit goes up high, dude. Does it go further back than this? Let me see. Nah, that's it. That's it there. Okay. I don't like this price action. I'll be honest with you. It's too like, it doesn't make sense. It's like it runs all the way down, breaks structure, runs back up, then runs down, then comes up, sweeps the high. Like, it's the way they're just moving this price is they're just manipulating this thing. I mean, either way, this is your floor. Your floor is down here, right? Even if you get wicks, this is your floor down there around 18 to like 15 to 18 bucks, right? No matter what happens, that's proven to be like a level. You got a kind of like a midterm support resistance here around 36, right, on the higher time frames. And you can see how you react at these levels, right? Like, see how I'm drawing down the higher time frame, price reacts there. So now we actually have a range we can look at. So we got 36 up to about 50 where we're at right now. That's our weekly range. You break it down into the daily. I mean, you look like you're starting to get rejected a little bit here, right? You tried the breakout, you swept liquidity, you came down. Now you're starting to you tried the breakout again and you're getting absorption and it's not pushing through. So if this thing starts to roll over here, right, if it starts to, you know, a little bit of a trend here, right? If this thing starts to break the trend, which people think trends are jokes, then you're expecting to probably come back down here to this 36. If it can push through and flip this, then your next level up is 69. I mean, go back to the weekly. Like, look, see how price moves. It flips this, it kind of runs back up to this level. So those are your levels on Intel, man. Those are higher time frame stuff. I really don't want to get into lower time frame with this thing, but it does look like a bear flag. This looks like a bear flag to me. So has to prove itself. If it can't get back above this level around 52, 53, man, it's probably, and it rolls over, that's your target down here. No problem, Gus. How do you use VWAP while trading? Very simple, man. You can use it a bunch of different ways. It's all about like using it as a reference point, really. So it's fair value. If you're trading Asia, you're looking for VWAP to either get broken. I'm going to just show you on Bitcoin. So you look for VWAP to get broken, and you look for a back test. that's how Asia does it. They established a trend, right? VWAP breaks, look for the back test. That's your trend. Then you play the trend as long as you're below VWAP. As long as you're above VWAP, you do it the opposite. You look for back test and you go long. If you're doing New York, oftentimes if you get further away from VWAP during New York sesh, they'll bring it back to New York during the open at some point to get fair value. Traders, like they're not going to buy it at a higher price. They want to get it at premium. So they'll wait for a dip below VWAP to like load up for it, day traders. So, I mean, that's just how you can use it. There's way more explanation into it. That's like my simplified version. Buy the dip on Netflix. So someone asked for, hold on, AVOG, Amazon. Somebody asked for Amazon a few times. I'm going to look at Amazon. Oh, man, I got so many indicators on right now. I hate when my screen gets cluttered like this. Let's just go look at a higher time frame. Damn, dude, I had some TA on this motherfucker. Excuse my language. Alright, let me get rid of some of this crap here. No, I want that box. I need that. Hold on. Get rid of some of my stupid drawings. So look, we got some levels. There's a gap. It's pretty like, I know it looks complicated, but it's not that complicated. We had a trend for March of last year running us up, just like most of the stock market. We had our highs around 242. We breached those highs twice, and we lost the trend. So we swept liquidity, and we're rolling over now on Amazon. We left in our path to the downside 2 major gaps to the upside while the market was closed. So we have a gap that we're finding resistance on right now around 212, which is why I drew that line right there. Let me get rid of some of these lines. So just to clean it up. So around 212, 210, up to about 220 is a gap. If we can gain acceptance back above 210, you're probably going to fill that gap up to 220. If it goes any higher than that, the next gap is around 226 up to about 231. It could run all the way back up there and still be a bearish, just still be bearish. That's why I had that little drawing there earlier. Because that's the daily high. The daily high is around 246. So it would need to break 246 to flip on the daily. Your major support I see below you is probably around 162, which is basically all the way back from April, March of last year. But there is a gap from 200, which is a psychological number, down to around 195 that could serve as support. So those are your levels on Amazon. I don't know what it's going to do. I would say on the short time frame, you could see it starting to roll over a little bit, going into that gap, which they do play as resistance. So I would look for a little bit of a pullback and then see maybe if it does bounce off this gap, maybe it'll fill it and then bounce. Maybe it'll pull back just a little bit, then run through. Like, there's a lot of different scenarios that could play out here. So I would say this is probably, I wouldn't be longing right into resistance. They're trapping traders right now, I think. Just the way the price action looks. But, yeah. Amazon thought, can you simplify the Asia and London highs and lows setups for futures? I don't know what you mean by simplify. I mean, there's a literally, if you're looking for Asia and London low highs, what you're doing is you're just waiting for, I mean, there's a bunch of different setups. You're waiting for the previous session to be swept to take a trade. If you're looking for it, you can actually go right into your indicators and like type in market sessions, and there's indicators that'll show you where the sessions are at. They'll mark it out for you. So I mean, if that's what you mean by simplify, yeah, there are ways to simplify it. I don't know if that answers the question. Why don't I know what Netflix is? There it is, NFLX. I trade too many crypto. Not enough stock. All right, so look, Netflix is in a precarious spot right now, right? I've had that trend fucking from 2022. So multi-year trend. It has been running up. we broke away from the trend and we just started to go back into it. Now look, this zone was important here because one, it lined up with this trend here that kind of ran down from the bottom, right? We deviate below it once or twice, not a big deal, right? But it also was this support here. This 83 was this support here on the weekly, once, twice. We're starting to lose that. The next weekly support doesn't come down until around like 67. So if we are unable to get back above this level here, and we're probably just going to roll down here to around 70 bucks. So just keep that in mind. Now, if we can reclaim this, we can start maybe making our way up and attacking 97, maybe 110. But we have to reclaim that $83, $84 level first. Anything below that's probably going to take you down in about 70 bucks. So that's what Netflix is doing right now. And if I had to look at it on the lower time frame, right, just let me get rid of some of this stuff. Not looking strong, guys. I'll be honest with you. Like, this is not a good look when you lose resistance or lose support. You don't want to start flagging under after you lost it, because that could, it's not a good look. Like, you want to get in, like if you're going to lose support, you want to lose it and then reclaim it quickly. The buyers need to step in, and right now they're not stepping in. They're indecisive. So this could end up just rolling over, you know. So this could be just a bear flag. But it could invalidate if it reclaims and starts to run up. Otherwise, it's more likely to do that. So that's Netflix. Damn. Start charging for fucking TA, man. I feel like I'm being like Dance Monkey. You guys are yelling at me. AVGO Broadcom. Trend from April, right? Ran up. Little shoulder, head and shoulder. That's the daily. This is your neckline around 325. You lost it for a moment, but now you're starting to reclaim it. The big level you need to break above now is up here, around 361. You either break 360 or 361, and then it'll flip bullish again on the daily. Otherwise, it's just a lower high, you know? But look, support still around this 325. Like, if you come back down, let's say you come back down, if this holds a support, you could look for this as just a little range for now, you know what I mean? Just a little range to trade in until it picks a direction. But if you can get back above 360, it's the all-time highs at 416. But if you lose 324, it's down to 280. So it's either that or that. Got to get rid of some of these drawings. What tool are you using? I don't know. Paintbrush, I think, right now. I think it's the paintbrush. This feels highly instructive. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I try to keep it instructive. If you're not learning from watching someone else TA, then what do you want? I mean, you got to learn something each time, right? Then you can kind of do it yourself over the time. Like, that's got to be the key. Otherwise, it's just gatekeeping. NBR, I could look at PayPal after this. So I'm going to be honest with you. NBR looks like shit, whatever this is. You're at macro support from 1971. All right, guys. We found support. It doesn't look great, brother. Whoever asked for this, I'm sorry. I know I'm talking shit right now. This might be like your big trade. I mean, look, you broke a little bit of a trend. You're marking up. That's great, but you've been down for a while. I would say big resistance is up here. This high around 200. That's the big resistance, but I would say your more immediate resistance sits up here around $100. 100 to 104 is probably going to be a big resistance. Other than that, man, I don't know. $30 is support. I hate TAing these things. But hey, you could run all the way up back to 200, dude. If you can get back above 100, there's a chance. Yeah, I mean, look, it's doing okay now, but I mean, it fucking went down like shit over time. It's like hard to, if it's just looking at it for the first time, I mean, it's like shell shock, you know? I'm like, oh shit. Let me go look at XRP. There's always somebody asking about XRP. By the way, I called that short a while back. All right, we talked about this. XRP lost major support around 180, right? That was your bull market level. You lost it. The next logical place when you lost it was to go down to the wick. What did it do? It came down, it filled that wick. What are we doing now? Now we're getting a little bit of a bounce. I don't know where it goes, but I can tell you where, if it was going to go to the upside, I would say, look, at some point, 180 may get retested. It's going to be resistance. That'll be the level I'd probably be looking for bigger shorts. But if it can reclaim 180, right? I don't want to get super bearish. But let's say it does get back up here, reclaims 180, then it gets acceptance back into this range here. And you could look for higher. But as long as it's below 180, I think that it's probably eventually going to make its way back down to this zone here. And you probably don't want to hear this, but this zone down here around 50, 60 cents. So that's the next logical place, because look, price moved from 64 cents up to 280. It created this low around 180 right here, and we just lost that low. There is nothing standing between us, price action here, and down here. This is all low volume. So it could come back up and back test, but any rollovers around 180, I'd be looking for it to come down lower, probably down to sub 100, sub $1. So, but for now, maybe it bounces, right? I'll say this much: it's flagging out, right? Got a little bit of like a bull flag vibe going right here. If this were to play out, just do the measured move. Take you back up to this 180. Potential. There's potential there. It's not ready to break out now. I would have to watch it a little bit. It looks like it's going to probably do one of these first and then run up. Just the way it's poised, but that's just my guess. I don't know. We'll see. That was XRP. I need some 50-cent XRP. Dude, if it gets back down to 50 cents, I might buy some. And just forget about it. I did Broadcom. I did Intel. I did MSFT. I did NBR. PayPal. Somebody did ask for PayPal. I'll do some PayPal. Ooh, we talked about that PayPal dump the other day. Okay, so let's go look at it on the daily real quick. Let's mark this off. Oof. When I open a chart and it looks like this, scary. So look, that's the gap. Mark it off as gap. We go to our 4 hours, still below it. So after hours are still, it's still below. We lost this trend here, which was, I know people talk shit, but I said this looked like a head and shoulders, and it's playing out. It's playing out as a head and shoulders right now. That would take us down to like fucking $20. Oh my God. Could you imagine? So look, the reason this gap makes a lot of sense. One, it would line up with a back test of this level here if we did back test right around that high or that previous low. So if we do get a bounce, this $44 level is going to be resistance. Just a lot of times what they'll do is they'll play you the first time they go into it. They'll do that, and then they'll run it back down, and then they run it up. So watch for the first attempt at this gap around 44. If they do start to push back up into it, it could turn into resistance. If you gain acceptance back into the gap, look for the fill back up to at least 50, which lines up with this previous low right there, back into like 52. So they could play it back up there. If you can't fill, let's say if it starts to roll over at any point, whether it's here, whether it's here, I mean, ultimately $30 is the target, I would say, in the long term. I'd say it's coming back down there. But maybe not. We'll see. I don't want to be super bearish. Big gap. Yeah, right. I should write big gap in there so people know. I got you. Let me change it up to big gap. There we go. Big gap. Alright, I'm done fucking around. Salesforce, please. Software. What's the ticker for Salesforce? I can just type in Salesforce and may come up, right? CRM. Okay, there we go. I've done some TA on this thing before. Alright, let's get rid of everything. Oof. Alright, I'm going to just point out the obvious here. Little shoulder head, right shoulder. That was your neckline, right? You could see support, resistance, resistance, support, support, support. You lost it. So 228 is a big level, and you're below it right now. If this thing continues to run down, right? So you're at resistance, you're at support right now. Temporary support. And this is weekly support, right? So if you can hold this 194 level, you may push back up into this 227 level. So if you hold here, there's a attempt possibly back up to this level here. If you can reclaim this level, you can run back up to 260. This level up there. If you lose this level here at 194, that's where you're headed. Back down here. So like 120 something. So just keep that in mind. So right now, I mean, it's not looking great. I think this 128, if the head and shoulders plays out, 128 will get hit. So we'll see if that actually happens or not. Also, my BTC short, remember what I said was going to happen earlier in the stream? I said we were going to head down to the Valley area low after the back test. Where are we at right now? Just throwing that out there, guys. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube and rewind it. For the guy who said I didn't know what I was talking about. My trend lines don't mean shit. Just saying. I win trades. That's all I need to worry about. That was just me being a little bitter. Sorry, guys. I'm fucking being bitter about that guy who was talking shit to me earlier. Playing it off like it didn't hurt my feelings, but secretly it did. Hopefully he's not listening right now. I don't want him to know. Alright, so I think I'm going to close my trade out now. Mm, 12%, I'll take that. APP, yeah, I can check that out. Sorry, I'm closing out my Bitcoin trade. Took it while we were live together. I didn't tell you guys when I was going in it, but I told you what I was doing before I did it. So I'm gonna post that in the Discord. Anybody who's in the Discord, I will post the trade and talk about the recap, why I got into it. If you're not in the Discord, if you're not part of the group, check us out, Tactical Edge Trading. My name's Eddie. I'm a trader there. It's me, Ben, and Nick, the three of us, and we have a lot of other traders there. And yeah, I would say if you're interested, check us out. It's free to join our website. There's tons of educational content on there. Ben did a great job creating a bunch of modules, and then our Discord's free as well if you want to be part of a trading community with real traders who actually like take this shit serious, and some of us do it for a living, myself included. Then yeah, check out our Discord. Links are in the bio. If you have any questions, join our Discord. Tag me in it. If I didn't get to your in the chat, tag me. Unfair Philly is my name in there. But look, we talked about this level before on APP. You have this major trend. You're catching a bounce, right? You have backup support down here around 315, but you didn't get there. Where's resistance? Well, it was the previous support, which was around 487. That's what we're starting to bang our heads on. We had a CME gap. We talked about this gap. It's been filled. So no reason to even talk about that. So beneath this level here, you expect to come back down. If you start to break this level, you start to make your way up. 560 is your first level. And I would say your next big level is around 670. If you can flip this 480. But if you stay below 480, you're looking to come back down and retest this trend. You lose the trend, 324 is your level. When to buy NDG? I don't know, man. I didn't even look at the charts. I'm not going to tell you when to buy it either way. What? I don't know what NDG is. What's the ticker, dude? Anyway, so that's APP. Are you profitable? Canel, yes, I am profitable. Not every trade, though. I lose trades just like I win trades, but over time I'm profitable, yeah. So like my P&L for every year is usually a lot higher than it was. I've had weeks where I've been red. I've had a month where I've been red before, like had an unprofitable month. Never had an unprofitable year yet, though, so that's good. What's the bond market looking like? Better. He's probably going long. That's why he was salty. Yeah, dude, right? Yeah, I'm telling you, man, if you go against someone's analysis, you don't like what you say, you're automatically full of shit, or you're an asshole. You're going to join the Discord tomorrow, Jacob? That's what's up, dude. Tag me when you're in there. Let me know you're there. I'll say what's up. And when to buy MSFT. NGD, okay. I did do Microsoft already. So if you want to check out our YouTube, it's actually recorded on there, this entire stream, so you can actually go back and look at the analysis on it. I don't want to spend too much time going back over things. Sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything. I look at so many charts, it's hard repeating myself sometimes. Damn, dude, this thing's straight up. Look, you're coming into resistance now. Resistance 1, resistance 2. Those are monthly resistances. You can see you SFP'd the first one, right? So you swept liquidity, closed back under. Now you're looking to take another crack at it. From what I can see, I mean, damn, dude, like, it's hard to fade this thing. There's really no major trend, but you got this little trend starting to establish itself right there on the daily. So there's your temporary trend support on the daily. You got 3 touches. You have some support here. You can see how this little high right here became support when we retapped it. So 950 and this trend are your support for now. Resistance is around 1275. If you break 1275, you're looking up to 14. So those are your levels. If you lose this trend, your next level down, I would say major level, is probably not going to be down to about $8. So I just like to break it down like that. It's kind of the ranges it's been trading in. TMC. Do you trade? I trade stocks and futures. So I trade. That's a dumb question. I trade futures on the futures market, but I trade stocks, crypto, commodities. But I do trade some spot stuff, so not always futures. So I do trade some things on spot. Like I'll buy and sell like whole stocks, and sometimes I'll buy and sell like whole crypto. So I'm not always using the futures. SoFi, I think I went over SoFi already, man. Go look back, Johnny, into the video. We talked about SoFi like a half hour, 45 minutes ago. So just take a look back on that one. Let me go do TMC. I think TMC is gonna be my last one tonight, guys. Then I'm gonna jump. I'm a little tired today. Don't have my normal energy. But hey, guys, if you're not following, give us a follow. We do lives pretty much every day. Similar to this, we go over the markets. We take take your requests. Yeah, live analysis. I actually gave a Bitcoin trade tonight that played out. I didn't tell you when to enter, but I told you what the trade was and what to look for. And I even said, hey, it's I even pointed it out. I was like, hey, it's back testing VWAP night right now, like we talked about. Like pretty much just hinted the entire time, and then. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, that's about the best I can do. I can't tell you when to do it. But look, this is this is resistance right now. This $10 level. You've hit it a few times. You've failed to break back in there. You're trading in like a little bit of a consolidation right now, but generally you're in an uptrend here, right? Like you can see, generally uptrending. So as long as you're in an uptrend, it's good. Resistance is around that 960, $10. Support sits around $6 on the weekly. Daily, no market structure yet on the daily. 4 hours starting to get a little bit better, but it has to break this high around $7. So things start to flip a little bit more bullish for you on the 4 hour, and probably the daily. Yeah, the daily as well. when you break back above 725. So if you get back above 725, I think you flip the trend and you start to run back up towards 10 bucks. Lose trend, and like I said, you're coming down. You're coming down pretty hard, probably down to these lows around 4 or 5 bucks. See these lows right here? That'd probably be the target if you lost trend, somewhere in this area. This is not financial advice yet. Anyone scalping gold buys from $5,000 per ounce? Nah, man. I ain't buying gold at 5,000. I think last time I bought gold was at like 4,400. I caught some of the ride, but not all of it. Anyways, guys, I'm going to jump. Last time, my name is Eddie. I am a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. Check out our website. Check out our Discord. They're free to join. We're a trading community, real traders in the markets, trading live. Sorry, let me pull that back up. Monday through Friday, New York session. We have free educational content. We don't gatekeep any of that stuff. If you want to join a real community with real traders, check us out. It's free. It's not going to hurt you. If you're new, give us a follow on TikTok, subscribe on YouTube, give us a like, helps us with the algos, and then you'll get notifications next time we go live. And you can, if I didn't get your ticker today, and you can either join the Discord and tag me and let me know what the ticker is, and I'll hook you up with some charts, or tune in for the next live, and I'll catch you then. Okay. Anyways, guys, later, y'all. I appreciate everybody.